So those of you who have been with us from the start, thank you, thank you. I hope you've enjoyed this journey as much as I have, and you've already collected some tips and little things, tactics you can incorporate into your skincare. And those of you who are new, welcome, welcome. We're happy to have you here with us. Statistics show that only 10% of people actually reach their goals. So I just want to encourage everyone to stick with this so that we can finish the year strong and have the clear, glowing skin that we want for 2022. Today, joining us is Rachel Varga. She's a board certified aesthetic nurse specialist with over 20,000 procedures performed. She is an international clinical trainer with other physicians and nurses, and she's also a celebrity expert, skincare expert. Rachel is also a speaker and a four-time academically published award-winning author in plastic and aesthetic nursing. I am so thrilled and grateful to have you here with us today, Rachel. I've been following your blog and you have such a wealth of knowledge. So I don't know how much we can actually pack into 30 minutes here today. So I just want to assure everyone that you have front row seat and free access to Rachel today. So put your questions in the comments as we go through it. I'm just going to jump right in with my first question. Um, so Rachel, I was talking to a friend recently, and she told me that she has significantly improved her skincare issues by just catching up on sleep and moving some key stressors in her life. So can you tell us a little bit more about how inflammation and fatigue may impact our skin?
Well, hello. Thank you so much for having me, Nadia. It's great to be here with everyone. And it's really funny, the word inflammation, you should think of it like this: inflammaging. Okay. Inflammation is what speeds up our aging process. So I actually recently did a biohacking test kit. I do a number of these tests to measure my stool, my blood, all sorts of things. And I actually got my results back recently, and my biological age is 9 years younger than my chronological age. So I'm in my mid 30s now. And I had the biological age of a 26-year-old, and my cellular health was on point. Biohacking does have a place with slowing our aging journey and taking the right supplements, like really potent antioxidants, say, for example, superoxide dismutase, like this one here. That term inflammaging is actually the founder of that company. They've been on the market for over 15 years and make really potent antioxidants. He actually said that in a podcast, so I must give credit where it's deserved to Francois Vix. But that's a great question and a great way to open things up. Does inflammation age us? 100%. Just remember that word, inflammaging. So whether you're dealing with melasma, loss of collagen and elastin at a bit of a faster rate than you'd want, acne scarring, and just that mental fatigue and just not really feeling like your brightest, most radiant version, before spending any money really on skincare and rejuvenation products and rejuvenation treatments in the clinic, like lasers and all sorts of things, you really have to look at your lifestyle first.
Ah, that's interesting. So what would you say are some of the most effective skin boosting methods of today? Uh, if we are to take some quick tips.
I love this question. All right. So there is a method that has been on the market now since the 90s. That's called collagen induction therapy, otherwise known as microneedling or dermal rolling. Now, here's a little fun fact is that a lot of practitioners will have you believe that you need to go see them once a month to do this. So when it comes to living a healthy lifestyle, we don't want to do that once a month. That doesn't make a lot of sense. We actually want to be doing this at least a few times a week. So I'm actually very fortunate that one of the OG researchers of dermal rolling actually lives in the city where I live. And so I have access to the techniques and the right products to use alongside your dermal rolling. Like this is what a roller looks like here. And the thing is, where people go wrong with this type of skin booster option, we're basically creating little tiny micro injuries in the skin to then tell your skin to heal itself, to make collagen and elastin. Where people go wrong with this type of skin booster option with dermal rolling is they pick up a roller online from a third-party auction website or a website where you might be worried about getting a computer virus from. And unfortunately, certain rollers on the market that aren't very good quality, they're coming from the Orient. The needles can in fact up close be blades, and they could be full of heavy metals. So buyer beware. If you see things like, oh, it's a 10 to 15 use product, and then you check it, we also have to be very cognizant of being smarter consumers, right? We don't want to be creating waste. We don't want to use wipes all the time and all of these different things that create waste. So the medical grade rollers that I like to work with can actually be used for up to 2 years. So there is a huge difference in the quality of dermal rollers on the market. And then you have to use approved products that are safe and effective for transdermal injury. So what we do with dermal rolling is we create minor injuries into the skin, kind of like aerating the lawn, right? You have that little hole in the lawn, and then you put your fertilizer on, and hopefully it's not glyphosate. But the thing is, when you have that little channel in the skin, then you can apply products to be absorbed 100 to 1,000 times deeper transdermally, not just topically. But you have to use the right products that are safe and effective for transdermal application. So that's where I come in, is to kind of help you navigate all of that. But yeah, that's probably the most frequently asked skin booster that I receive from my clients one-on-one and online and in settings like this. So how the heck do you dermal roll? Where do you get a good roller? What products do you use? There's more than we could talk about 30 minutes on that, but that's just probably my top skin booster at-home option. It's great because it's cost effective. I see a number of clients in their 60s and 70s say they don't have the budget or the time to go into clinic for laser resurfacing treatments, which are really going to pack a punch first, promoting collagen and all of that. And honestly, when I do things like different types of facial treatments, and I touch their skin with someone who is in their 60s and 70s, and then they're rolling, they're dermal rolling, compared to some of my clients I see in their 20s and 30s, they actually have thicker skin. They have more collagen to it, which is really quite fascinating to think that you could potentially have thicker skin in your 60s and 70s than someone in their 20s or 30s. So I do like to point that out, that I have actually clinically seen clients have better quality skin later in life, thicker, more collagen, more elastin than even clients in their 20s and 30s that haven't experienced a lot of that inflammation or inflammaging, if you will. Oh, I just can't quite hear you, Nadia. Just unmute yourself.
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah, I haven't heard much about dermal rolling, so that's something I will have to follow you a bit more on, so I could really get a good understanding of that. But it does make sense, as you say, sort of fertilizing the skin so that you actually get the effect of the products. But you also mentioned something really interesting about the cost, right, of good skincare. So I would love to hear like two things really, and everyone feel free to put your questions in the comments, because this is not just for my benefit, but what is a really good routine for skincare? And then how can we have this routine affordable so that we're not breaking the bank, because there's so many products and options out there? What would be your recommendation?
I absolutely love this question. And there's actually really 5 things that I truly want each and every one of you to start to do. Actually, as a freebie to everybody, I'm giving away my 5 steps to sophisticated skin. So that's giving you insights into how to already use the products that you have, just in a slightly more sophisticated and efficient and effective way. So with cleansing, I want you to be cleansing the skin morning and night. Your moisturizer should be functioning basically as a way to get some vitamins on the skin and antioxidants, like your multivitamin for the skin, if you will. You want to make sure you're protecting it with a clean sunscreen. And I can get into that if you like. You have to be exfoliating. You got to get that dead skin off because the dead skin up close, actually, it's called stratum corneum. It looks like cornflakes stacked on top of one another. So clients that I've been doing this since 2011, clients that report that they have sensitive dry skin, they're usually afraid of cleansing and exfoliating because someone told them not to. But that's actually one of the best ways that they can contribute to sensitive dry skin is by not cleansing and getting off dirt, oil, debris, dead skin, cosmetic creams, pollution. We know in certain high pollution cities, like in the Orient, the pollution and debris, when it sits on the skin, it actually creates oxidative stress, otherwise known as inflammation. So that's why cleansing is so important. And yeah, sometimes doing like a once or twice a week mask is also great. And yeah, that freebie is available for everybody here. You also had a question about cost. This is actually something that's really important to me. I like to sleep very well at night. And when I work with the client one-on-one, I do like to know what products they're using. And in fact, if they can continue using it or if they need to literally turf it because it contains toxins. So some of the toxins you right away want to look at in your routine, your skincare products are avoiding things like parabens, phthalates, sulfates, artificial dyes, fragrances, of course, not testing on animals. So I actually go through my clients' products and say, okay, you need to get rid of this one, or maybe continue to use this one on your body, and I'll recommend something better. You can actually get a really good, solid medical grade, meaning great for mature skin, also super clean and efficacious. You can get a great medical grade routine for about $250. Same with the dermal rolling kit with the roller and the associated peptides and retinol and hyaluronic acid that I might recommend for your skin type. You don't have to break the bank. So when I work with clients and they're using, say, for example, a moisturizer that's over $200, I just think that's absolutely ludicrous. And yeah, I basically cap it at about $200 for a product. If you see anything that's more expensive than that, you need to use your wise discernment and maybe reach out to me and I'll help you out.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, because I know like some people have body acne and they think about, do I use products all over my body? Like, how do you approach or deal with body acne?
So I live a very active lifestyle. And when we're active, we tend to sweat a lot. My hubby's actually a pro athlete as well. So he keeps me in check. I keep his skin in check and he keeps my physical in check. Have you worked out today? And then I ask him, have you done your dermal rolling a couple of times this week? It's actually really cute. But when it comes to body acne, when I was talking about cleansing and getting off the dirt, debris, oil, dead skin pollution, you want to make sure that you are showering or bathing before bed. I love actually showering and bathing twice a day, even morning and night. I'll get my red light therapy in. I got one of my lights going right now. Actually, I love it. And then I'll do my skincare routine while I'm getting my exposure to light. But a couple of tips that I have for everybody is make sure your bathtub's clean, because if you are leaning back in your bathtub and your tub is full of grime and things like that, guess where it's going to deposit? It's going to deposit on your upper back. Okay. So some other things that you could do is with your cleanser, I could maybe suggest an acne based cleanser with maybe a bit of salicylic acid in there, and actually use your cleanser on the back of your shoulders. You could also get your partner, if you're taking a bath together or something like that, there's actually a magnesium scrub that I could suggest to basically exfoliate the back, and maybe ask your partner to maybe spend a little extra time over any zits that may have popped up. My hubby scrubbed my back, I think, like, what was that, 2 nights ago? There's also some different products that I could suggest that contain
Yes.
alpha hydroxy and beta hydroxy that you do your face, neck, chest with. And then with the remaining product, you go over, especially the back where we have some back acne sometimes.
Okay, so yeah, the value of exfoliating. That's great. Yeah, I didn't think of that one. You also mentioned sort of lifestyle changes, like as you see acne coming up, what sort of things do you think our skin would be pointing to in terms of our lifestyle, or things we should adjust? Because, you know, some, like for me, like we talk about stress as well, but even like times of the month, I get acne. So when we think about lifestyle and we think about acne or flare-ups in any of the skin issues, eczema, psoriasis, what sort of things should we be thinking about in regarding our lifestyle?
Sure. I will definitely answer that lifestyle question and how it relates to stress, that time of the month, all of that and more. But I wanted to quickly jump back to exfoliation. Not all exfoliants are created equally. So we've all used that St. Ives apricot scrub back in the day. That contains really jagged, kind of like apricot seed hulls, right? So in my guide that you all have access to, it's a free gift here. I talk about some scrubs that you actually need to avoid because they
Okay.
have really jagged edges to them. We want to
Mhm.
use particulates that are not plastic, but we want them to be more spherical to actually buff and polish the skin. You probably never heard that before. And when it comes to lifestyle, this is something that over the last 2 years, I personally have really dove into. I've actually been, when it comes to stress, I've been in two pretty rough car accidents.
Oh,
And
okay.
because of that, I had to hit pause on flying to New York, California, Toronto, Vancouver, London, because I teach and present all over the place. And when
Yeah.
I was living that lifestyle, it's like the jet set lifestyle, you know, you've made it when, right? That's kind of what we're led to believe or programmed. But
Yeah.
now my lifestyle is I have more of a routine. So I have my rhythms, right? Body, mind, spirit, energy practices. I
Mm.
cannot emphasize enough the importance of spiritual and energetic practices, especially right now. I've worked with so many clients since 2011. I've done over 20,000 procedures, as you've mentioned. There's absolutely a subset of clients that I work with that are aging really well. And those that they'll show up for like non-surgical stuff, and they'll come into the clinic for every 3 months, 6 months for a top up or whatever, and they their skin is really just lackluster. But those
Right.
clients of mine that have really dialed in body, mind, spirit, energy practices, they actually respond better to things like dermal rolling, skincare, and rejuvenation treatments. So finding ways to express yourself, feel joy, kind of be in that childlike, playful kind
Mm.
of essence, if you will, are great
Yeah.
ways to reduce stress. And having your being able to say no when you need to and really protect your energy. This is really key right now. And when it
Yeah.
comes to that time of the month, I had lunch with one of my friends today. We were talking about how, acne and all this stuff and that time of the month. I'm like, I have not had PMS symptoms in the last 2 months. And the reason why is because my hormones are balanced. I've been able to do
Yes.
that through very technical testing. I take certain supplements to basically, I was estrogen receptive and I was low testosterone. And we see this a lot right now. When your hormones are out of whack, you're going to have PMS symptoms, but it's weird that these PMS symptoms have been kind of normalized, if you will. It's like grab the chocolate, grab the pint of ice cream, and cry it out
Right.
over a
Yeah.
movie. But those are signs that something is off. Okay. So you
Okay.
need to start to get really intuitive and in tune with all of your all the aspects of yourself, body, mind, spirit, energy.
Yeah.
Because when I was talking to my girlfriend over lunch today, we went to Upgrade Labs. We have one of them here in Victoria. It's super yummy, clean food. And I clued in. It's like, I had this zit here last week, and there is no evidence of the redness afterwards, which is called PIH or post inflammatory hyperpigmentation. And When your body can deal with inflammation better, you're not going to have that really annoying redness that seems to stick around for sometimes weeks or months.
Oh, wow. Okay, mind blowing. I love how you talk about things that we have sort of normalized and accepted. Okay, yeah, it's my time of the month, so I have to expect my skin to explode and my feelings to be depressed. And just the simple solution of seeking joy and being happy in yourself, and how that can actually impact your skin. So, that body, mind, spirit connection. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Before we tell everybody about the free gift, although Rachel has given you hints on that, I want her to tell you more about it, and I will copy and paste the link in the chat box. You did mention something that I'm particularly passionate about. As somebody with dark skin, like, my biggest frustration is the hyperpigmentation. So can you tell us, so our previous speaker was talking, trying to help us get away from picking at our skin, which is addictive. But if you have any tips to share about how to deal with it after you've done what you shouldn't do, you
Absolutely.
have the spot.
Well, first of all, if you have some good exfoliants, you're not going to need to pick the skin. So think of it like Mount Everest. All right.
Yes.
So when you exfoliate, you're basically taking the top of Mount Everest off, right? And then things like alpha hydroxy, beta hydroxy, lactic acid, or they're going to be able to actually penetrate into the zit and get rid of bacteria and reduce inflammation. And when we do that and you live the healthy lifestyle, you're not going to have that PAH afterwards. Okay. It's actually really simple. There was a question that came up, which products? Well, it depends on your skin type. Why would I say this product for this when your skin type may be oily, dry, depending on what age you're at, right? So it really is on a one-on-one basis where my one-on-one work comes in. When it comes to hyperpigmentation, we actually also need to take notice of this. If we're having an uptick of something called melasma, we tend to see melasma at different times of our life, right? During pregnancy, during hormonal imbalances, but also it can be a sign of detoxification blockages in your detoxification pathways through my conversations with genetic experts, interestingly enough. There are some supplements like the one that I mentioned here. It is a skin brightening formula. It's been on the market 15 years, third-party independent lab testing. All of my melasma clients that want brighter skin, I have them on that. It contains antioxidants, it contains enzymes that actually help to basically impair the melanocytes from making more melanin in the skin and like the deposits, which is going to be what you're going to see with the melasma. So there are some supplements, but word to the wise, you really don't want to be getting those hair, skin, nail supplements. You're getting heavily targeted through sponsored ads. There's a lot of garbage products out there that actually one of them that a couple of years ago was just being touted by influencers everywhere. It was like a gummy bear. And an independent lab tested it, and it actually two gummies tested to have more lead than you're actually supposed to have in a day. So I actually have been working with a lot of the products that I like to recommend for my clients for well over 10 years. And I see what clients keep coming back for that they get results from. And that brightening formula is absolutely one of them. And it's got the science to back it up for sure.
That's great. I'm just there's a question, just clarification on what is melasma. And is it good to use coconut oil for dry skin?
That's actually a great question. I get asked this pretty much all the time. Is coconut oil good for the skin? And the answer is actually yes and no. It really depends on how your body actually integrates coconut oil. For some people, it will actually cause inflammation. And for others, sure, it can be a great moisturizer. I do have other moisturizers I like to recommend. Trust me, I used to be that girl. I have really thick, coarse, curly hair. Actually, some people, I do have it smooth right now, would even ask me if I had different types of heritages in my background because it's so thick and curly. And yes, I definitely went at it with the coconut oil back in the day. There are some better products on the market. Coconut oil for the body, awesome, but only if it's good for you. If you have sensitivities to it, if you're using coconut oil and you're like, oh, my skin's still dry, it's still red, it's still reactive, it's probably not a good mix, but there's wonderful ways to still ingest coconut oil and get the benefits that way. And what is melasma? Melasma can manifest in a couple of ways. Oftentimes I see it on the forehead here. Sometimes it's on the cheek. Sometimes it's on the upper lip. And as I mentioned before, it's basically an overproduction of melanin from your melanocytes. So even something like dermal rolling at a specific depth with specific products to apply afterwards can penetrate deep enough to basically puncture the keratinocyte and the melanocytes and actually suppress the overproduction. There's other actives that you can use topically on the skin as well to help the skin be nice and bright and reduce that hyperpigmentation as well. But you've got to cleanse the skin, you got to moisturize, you have to use sunscreen every single day, but clean sunscreen. And also watch your blue light LED exposure, like through our devices here. Even if you're not leaving the house, you're working from home, switch out your overhead LED lights to halogen as well, because I'm actually going to be writing another paper on different lighting that we have in the home. LED is super cheap, it's cost effective, the bulbs last forever, but they're terrible for our eyes, our circadian rhythm, our skin, and for hair loss.
Wow, that's a great practical tip. I didn't think about the lights.
I
And
also forgot
halogen.
hormones. Hormones are
Right.
key. So I'm actually drinking a hormone balancing protein. So good. And if your hormones are out of whack as well, that's why we tend to see sometimes melasma kind of uptick if we're stressed out, adrenal fatigue, pregnancy, things like that. So it's really all connected, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing, but it's good to know that we can get some clarity when we talk to experts like you. So I'm going to post the free gift in the chat box, and maybe Rachel, you can tell us a little bit more about it.
Sure. I actually have a copy of it right here. So when you download it, you can actually get it also at RachelVarga.ca. You'll see my sophisticated skin guide. It's like a little button. You also get it when you join my newsletter. This is what it looks like. It's really easy. So tips for cleansing, moisturizing, protecting, exfoliating, and also hydration treatments. And then some little notes here of like when to add in the extras, like a separate day cream, night cream, serum, eye cream, retinol, skin brighteners, only after mastering these basics. And as a thank you for everyone joining today, you also get my treatment planning guide, which is like your daytime planner for what you might decide to do in the clinic. And everyone who is here today also gets 15% off of their one-on-one session with me using the promo code NadiaHens15. You can use that promo code for 15% off of your one-on-one call with me at RachelVarga.ca.
Awesome. Thank you. Oh, I just got some message. Some people were trying to get in, but they couldn't. I'm sorry about that. But everyone will get the recording. We'll email it to our list, and so people can listen in again. And some of you, I was trying to take notes, but there are some things I would like to replay so I can capture again. So Rachel, tell us something that you're working on that's exciting you right now, because we would love to support you in your work. And what you've shared has been so valuable. So what's next for you? What's upcoming?
Yeah, just hang out with me at the Rachel Varga podcast. You can check out my podcast on like iTunes, Spotify, whatever, Rachel Varga podcast, and also on YouTube. So I go live quite a bit and you can ask me questions that way. That's a great way to stay connected. Say you don't have the funds to do a consult or whatever. I give out so much amazing free content because what I'm here to do is help kind of ignite radiance in humans. And that is through body, mind, spirit, energy practices. And the Rachel Varga podcast, I actually intentionally record it to be a very like soothing, calming, healing type of auditory experience. So if you feel like you just need a little encouragement, because these times are kind of rough for a lot of people, just hang out with a great community on the show, and it'll give you a little bit of a positive little imprint into your day.
That's beautiful. So good. Yeah, the value of community, right? Because we
Oh
don't have
gosh,
to
yeah.
do this all on our own.
No.
There are lots of us who dealing with skincare issues and at different point in the journey, right? Some people have figured it all out already, certainly like you, and can guide us along the way. And others are really just starting, and some of us are just dumbstruck that, almost 40 and still have acne. I'm like, I thought this was a
Actually,
teenage thing.
not always bad. It's funny. One of the founders of a really great biohacking test that I love to do, he actually said, because he goes through data of like hundreds of thousands of people, sometimes acne can be a sign of youth. So don't beat yourself up. So I get zits, once or twice a week, once or twice a month. Don't be fooled, but they go away really fast. Okay.
Okay.
So it's not always a bad thing. Oh, I get breakouts. It can be a sign of youth, but it's what happens to the skin after the breakout and if your
Yeah.
body's able to mitigate the inflammation.
Thank you. It's been lovely. And Sophia says your podcast sounds good, so she'll be checking it out. So thank you, everyone. You've been part of the Radiant Skin Summit. And for those of you who haven't checked out the website yet, it's iamlucent.ca, IAMLUCENT.ca. And there you can register for all the other interviews we'll be having for the rest of the week. We're just tapping into as many experts as we can to guide us on this journey to clear, radiant skin. So we'll chat soon. Thank you so much, Rachel. For
My
everyone.
pleasure. Great to
Bye.
hang out with everybody.